Hey, we're back again. All right. So we're continuing to talk about health systems, okay, and ethnomedicine and medical anthropology. And last time we pretty much defined what um, ethnomedicine is all about, what medical anthropology is all about, what it tries to pay attention to, and so on. So today, and in this segment here, part three, I believe it is, of our little discussion of medical anthropology, we are going to move myself out of the way. We will make myself a little smaller. Okay, we are going to start talking about, what we call healing ways, or what Miller calls healing ways. Now, what she's doing here is, first of all, I get my pen. What color you want? How about, let's go with blue today. Especially here, right, these two things. She's talking about examples of, I would call them folk or maybe traditional systems of healing, okay, and practices, healing practices. And so we're going to start with community healing and then work our way to humoral healing. And then we're going to talk a little bit about certain kinds of healers. Every health system, every cultural health system has its healers. Okay, so we're going to talk about those a little bit. All right, so moving on. And the question we're going to ask is, do they work? I forgot that, right? We're going to ask, do they work? We're not going to ask about whether or not they work, I think, in this segment here, but we are going to ask about whether or not they actually work. Do these systems have any kind of effectiveness, okay? And why? All right. Okay, so we're going to start with community healing. Now, we just got done, right? We just got done saying that the Western biomedical model, right, is based on the idea of private healing, okay? In other words, it's focused on the individual, and it's also this doctor-patient relationship, okay? That's most important. So we call that private healing, and what goes on between you and your doctor is private, okay? And in fact, right, we have laws that, and I'm not saying this is bad by any means, but we definitely have, we have laws that say that I can't, for example, call your doctor and ask about your health. That would be against the law. So that, in other words, the reason why I'm bringing that up, right, is to emphasize this doctor-patient relationship and the focus on the individual and the individual's privacy and so on, right, as crucial to Western values, right, crucial to the Western biomedical model, all right. Okay, so Western biomedicine is based on private healing, okay. But a lot of non-Western systems use community healing, something we're going to call community healing, okay? And our old pals, the Kung, right, who we also call the Zhuahansi, right, the Kung, the Bushmen, use a system of community healing. In fact, if you remember back a long time ago when we were doing the human family tree, there was a scene of some Kung people dancing there. Okay, and I'm not saying that was a healing dance, but you get an idea of what kinds of stuff they do if you flash back on that image. Okay, all right. So the Kung use a system of community healing, and it is a blend of religion and healing, right? Part of the reality that folk societies, traditional societies, indigenous societies have unspecialized, multifunctional institutions. So religion and healing, right? All kind of blend together, okay? Now, so it's a blend of religion. It's actually as much a healing practice as it is a religious ritual. And one of the key features of community healing is that, well, it's open to the entire community. So everyone participates. Everybody in the community participates, and it is open to anyone in need, okay? And it's based on a belief that the community's energy, right, can be mobilized. We can stir up this energy from the community, and we can mobilize it in order to cure, right, or in order to alleviate suffering. Okay. I'm going to move myself out of the way again here. All right. So there's a shared belief in among the Kung, and these are some Kung words here. There's a shared belief in healing power, and that the word they use for healing power is num. I'm going to turn this light off. I'm going blind here. The healing power of num, right? And then this healing power is utilized through Kia, through this thing called Kia, and we're going to explain that more as we move on to the next slide. All right. So there's a little description of the Kung healing dance in Miller's book, right? And I wanted us to look at this quote, right, from her. So this is from her book, and she's quoting. Let's see, remember. Hold on a second. I want to remember what his name is. Okay, I know it's Katz. That's all she gives is Katz. Okay, so she has this quote in there from this guy Katz. All right, and it says, "Well, let's just leave that there." It says the central event in this tradition is the all-night healing dance. Okay, all night. Takes all night. All right, so we want to remember that. 4 times a month on the average, night signals the start of a healing dance. The women sit around the fire, singing and rhythmically clapping. The men, sometimes joined by the women, dance around the singers. As the dance intensifies, num, right, or spiritual energy, is activated by the healers, both men and women, but mostly among the dancing men. Okay, as num is activated in them, they begin to kia, or experience an enhancement of their consciousness. And then while experiencing kia, this enhancement of their consciousness, they heal all those at the dance. Okay, so let's get the next. This is the Kung, part of the Kung healing ritual. Okay, and here's another picture of this dance. All right, now I wanted to look at this for a second. All right, get myself out of the way again. I'll put myself up here. Okay, I wanted to look at all this stuff for a second. All right, and what does this stuff mean? Okay, so there's a belief in healing energy. They call it num. They mobilize that energy. They stir it up, right, and they mobilize it through their dancing. And then the healers, right, like this guy here, right, the healers have this enhancement of consciousness that they call kia. And when they're in that state of kia, it is believed that they're able to heal, okay, to heal people. Now, I wanted to talk about, that's the part I wanted to talk about, because what is kia? Well, I guess if we're saying it's an enhancement of their consciousness, I guess we could say it's like a trance, okay? But, I think, and I'm not, I don't have any proof for this, but I explain it to myself this way, is I think there's a kind of a, a reason, right, why people go into trance states. What trance states are these altered states of consciousness or these enhanced states of consciousness? Because I don't know exactly what they mean by an enhanced consciousness. To me, it's an altered state of consciousness, right? So let's think about this a little bit. All right. So first of all, people getting together and they're all kind of psyched up. So I don't know if any of you have ever been on a team, like on a football team or whatever, you know, a basketball team or something, and your teammates get together and they get that energy going, and you all feel right different by it, right? That's something like an enhancement of consciousness that I'm talking about, all right? And then there's another thing too. I said, right, this dance takes all night, right? All night. All night healing dance. So what are they doing? They're dancing, right? And they're dancing all night long, okay? Now, is there anybody out there who's ever been a runner, right? Like a marathon runner. I know I don't look like it now, but I used to be a marathon runner, right? And we used to talk about something called the runner's high, okay? And what is that? Well, it's an enhancement of consciousness. That's what I would say. It's an enhancement of consciousness, right? It's almost like a trance state, okay? In fact, you know, I have a nephew who is really crazy, and he's one of these ultra marathoners. He runs these races that are, and he likes it too. He runs these races that are like 100, 120, 130 miles long, right? And they take all day and all night. You know, he runs for 14 to 17 hours without stopping, right? And he told me once, and usually these races take place out in the, you know, like on trails or more like trail runs. And he told me a story once about how he was in this race and he was running at night, and you know, he'd been running for many, many hours, and he started to hallucinate. He started to see monkeys in the trees, he said. They were jumping from branch to branch. Now, what is that? That's, excuse me, that's an enhancement of consciousness, right? That's an alteration of consciousness. Maybe maybe that state that he was entering, maybe that state of that runner's high that people enter because they're expending energy and so on, maybe that's close to what you know, the Kung are calling Kia. Because what are they doing? They're dancing. They're dancing all night long, okay? And there's not much difference between dancing all night long and running all night long, okay? So that's just my own little hypothesis, right, about what this trance state must be and where it must come from. I'm not sure there's anything really mystical about it. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So there we go. So look at these pictures here, and then let me ask this question. So what do these pictures, I don't know why I'm pointing because you can't see, but what do these pictures look like? Right? What do they look like? Okay, well, to me, they look like that. I don't know if you know what that is, right? But that is a faith healing ritual in the Ozark Mountains, right here in the good old USA. Okay, and what do? What are these? What are these? These are Pentecostal Christians, right? What do? They dance and they sing and they jump up and down. They get themselves into a frenzy, right? And then they claim, or they believe, that they get all that energy, right? That Holy Ghost energy, right? And they can lay hands, right? They can lay hands on people and heal them. Okay. All right. So I want to read a little quote here from Miller. Okay, if I can find it. I got old Barbara Miller. I got this version of the book, so I'm on page 100. Okay, and here's what she says. Okay, She says, does community healing work? Okay, well, we're going to talk more about why community healing maybe works, but here's what she says. She says, does community healing work? In both ethnic and Western terms, the answer is yes, it does. Okay, it works, quote unquote, works on several levels. People's solidarity and group sessions may support mental and physical health. So, in other words, this ritual symbolizes, gives meaning to people, lets them know that they're supported by the community. Okay. People's solidarity and group sessions may support mental health and physical health, acting as a health protection system. When people fall ill, the drama and energy of the all-night dances may act to strengthen the afflicted in ways that Western science would have difficulty measuring. Okay. In a small, close-knit group, the dances support members who may be ill or grieving. Okay. Everybody good? Everybody got that? An important aspect, we already said this, but an important aspect of the Zhuangzi healing system is its openness. Everyone has access to it. The role of healer is also open. There is no special class of healers with special privileges. Okay. More than half of all adult men and about 10% of adult women are healers. Okay. So there's our community, our thing on community healing. All right. Now, when we come back, okay, I'm gonna break this here. Okay, and when we come back, we're gonna talk about humoral healing. Okay, another sort of folk system of healing. Okay, and then a little bit later on, we're going to talk about the effectiveness of these systems. Okay, we're going to say, but you already have an idea, I think, from what I just read from Miller about why these systems are effective, or in what way they are effective, right? Why they work. Okay, so that's all for now, folks, and we'll be seeing you very shortly. Okay, so stay tuned.